And greetings, friends. Tonight, God instructed me to do a special podcast, and I need to ask you the question. Are you a real man? You who are listening to me. Do you consider yourself to be a real man? Have you been taken advantage of by women? Or simply, do they consider you a wimp? Well, tonight I'm going to tell you all about what it means to be really a man, how to be a real man in a very predominant female society, and how to stop being a wimp with women. Please join me. The New Radio Church of God and the Plain and Simple Truth Ministries present the Messenger of the Lord with Apostle Yeshua, preaching the gospel of the good news of the kingdom of God and informing you about world events in the light of Bible prophecy and preparing the way for the return of Jesus Christ. And now, ladies and gentlemen, Apostle Yeshua. In this special podcast, I want to show you and teach you as a man, as an ordained minister of God, how to be a real man and not to allow them to manipulate you, use you, and most importantly, humiliate you any longer, and to put your pants on and truly, efficiently, and effectively fulfill the role that Almighty God has given you as a true man. Hollywood, through the years, has portrayed a very unrealistic and untrue image of Jesus Christ in movies depicting him as a very frail, effeminate-looking man who had long hair, assuming that because he was from Nazareth, he would have a Nazarite vow that would not allow you to cut your hair, nor drink wine, but he was a Nazarene and wouldn't ever have long hair, as we have seen him being portrayed in most movies about him. Since this would be a very flagrant violation of Scripture, doth not even nature itself teach you that if a man have long hair, it is a shame unto him? 1 Corinthians 11:14. Jesus Christ, although being the kind of man like me, having no beauty that we should desire him, and being despised and rejected of men and women, a man of sorrows like me, and acquainted with grief, Isaiah 53 verses 2 to 3, was a very strong and muscular man, and filled with vigor, like I am also, and strength. He was also a very hard-working man. He was a carpenter. And as I mentioned in a previous podcast, he even had enough strength to overturn the tables of the money changers in the temple. And he also took an incredible beating by the Roman soldiers before being crucified, that even Pilate, when seeing him, was highly impressed by his strength and endurance, that he even said to the crowd, "Behold the man!" John 19 verse 5. Jesus Christ certainly was no wimp, and you shouldn't be either. In actuality, many men get more and more rejected by women like me, I must confess, and they simply can't figure out the reasons why. They believe that by giving a girl everything, they will conquer them, and that is not true. This is why this special podcast is mainly directed to all those men like me who have given everything to women and have got nothing in return. I have to admit that most of my relations in my life have been a total disaster, because my thinking when I was very young was this traditional kind of thinking that men have, that you are supposed to woo them and impress them, and by showering them with romantic songs of love, chocolates, teddy bears, and various gifts, and by giving them and showing them all of the attention that according to this type of thinking they should have. So very early in my young dating age, I made some awful and terrible mistakes. I would usually invite a girl for a nice romantic dinner at a real expensive restaurant. I would also rent a limo to go pick her up and would put on my best attire or suit. I would buy her roses and chocolate candy, teddies, the works, Just like I know a lot of guys out there, like some of you listening to this, have done, without even realizing and ignoring that all of this would backfire and that actually would end up being counterproductive for your aims and attaining the desired result from the girl. So in short, most of my romantic pursuits turn out to be a real failure and a very sad and unfruitful, huge disappointment. And because I truly have endured so much grief, misery, and pain in my love life for using this very dumb and really stupid strategy, I want to show you guys out there to know how not to make the same mistakes I did. And I want to tell you 10 things that you should not ever do for a woman. Number 1, do not insist nor pursue a relationship when she obviously has brushed you off and has given you the cold shoulder. Insisting on trying to conquer a woman is the biggest error that a man can do, because not only will this silly sort of behavior will show her that you are weak and lack of masculinity in you, but she will then lose all of the respect that she ever had for you, if any. When you begin to seek her in order to get her attention a lot, this will show and tell her that you are very fragile and insecure. You are really and truly showing her that you are desperate to gain contact with a girl. Women are not stupid, and when they can foresee a glimpse of desperation in you, they will discard you. Remember this when you tell a woman that you're dying to have dinner with them, or to forgive you for something that you said or you did that perhaps you feel was wrong, and so forth. She will immediately suspect and know that you are a man without many options, and a man of a very soft character and very unattractive. When you try to pursue and insist, this sort of thing makes you and turns you automatically into a slave of your emotions. So never ever text her, message her, or call her. Give yourself some respect. Number 2, don't give her things. If you're one of those guys like I used to be that think that you should give chocolates, flowers, and teddies to a girl in order to gain their interest in you, you are so wrong and deeply mistaken. When you try to conquer by giving her gifts and things, you're only humiliating yourself, since you are trying to compensate your lack of manly charisma by doing this. When a woman starts to get things from you, she will lose any kind of respect she may have had for you, because this sort of thing makes her realize that you are a very easily manipulated man and desperate, and this is highly unattractive for any girl. Do not give her anything. Do not trample your dignity under her feet. And keep in mind also that the average girl is surrounded by a myriad of guys and men who are frantically looking for attention and trying to conquer her, and are continually showering her with many gifts all the time. Women are used to getting gifts from men most of the time. This is why she will not be a bit impressed with your gifts, and this is why she will completely ignore you. When a woman does accept your gifts, this doesn't mean that she loves you or wants you, but rather she is perhaps pressed to accept it, and it will be to her more like an obligation to do so. And an obligation is not really an attraction. You need to really forget about romanticism, because this only makes you look pathetic and as someone begging for love and affection. And it's much better for you to concentrate on developing your mental, physical, and spiritual strengths, so that you won't have to depend on gifts, but only on yourself and who you are as a person. She will truly find you more attractive and interesting for just being who you are. Number 3, do not compliment her nor put her on a pedestal. Do not tell a woman how beautiful or lovely she is. She already knows she's beautiful. All of her prospective romantic pursuers tell her the same thing. So this will only make you be just another one of the bunch. Don't sabotage yourself, and do not put down your own dignity only for complimenting someone who really doesn't deserve it, just because you believe that you will conquer her that way. You will never conquer a girl like that, since by telling her all these compliments to her only shows her you're desperate and your lack of experience for a little bit of feminine attention. Don't forget that a man who always uses compliments in order to attract the girl is not so manly and makes him very unattractive. For a man like this usually tries to hide his lack of masculinity by complimenting a woman. A foolish man believes that by telling a girl nice things about her, he will conquer her, and that's not how things work. Because a woman will only feel reinforced and more valuable, and her vanity will increase by this. So don't be like the rest of the guys. She will not seek a relationship with you just because you always say nice things to her. This will only provoking her to dump you and discard you. Number 4, don't idolize her and do not treat her like a goddess. Do not idolize nor worship any woman. Just treat her normally and naturally as you would do another ordinary person. A lot of men, when they meet a good-looking girl, they feel blessed and fortunate because they don't believe that a lovely, attractive, and gorgeous woman like that would notice them and would want to be with them. And it is at this stage that women normally become like idiotized, mesmerized, and sort of hypnotized by these women, and we begin to upset and allow all sort of crap from them, like leaving you alone for a long time and the letdowns, the temper tantrums, etc. And this is all due to the fact that they see them as their goddess. So don't you ever put on a pedestal the girl that you like. She is not perfect and she isn't a goddess. And keep in mind that when you idolize a girl or woman, you are demonstrating to her a lot of desperation for someone that you really don't know. Besides the fact that one of the 10 commandments tells you very simply that you should not make idols to yourself. Okay? Only God should be worshipped, not a woman. And keep in mind that when you idolize a girl or woman, you are demonstrating to her a lot of desperation for someone that you really don't know. Women do notice your excessive efforts to please and to go out of your way for them, and this is why they reject you. For a man like that is someone weak and without character and with very little options available, like inexperienced and a true novice, and because of this, you're somewhat unattractive to them. This is why you need to act with the most ease and very naturally and very secure when you are with a girl, and without fear and being timid. This way you will be able to reinforce your personality. Number 5, don't do things for her. Things like opening doors for her, carrying things for her, pulling a chair for her at a restaurant. She will never want to be with you because when you do these sort of things, you're giving her a signal that you are a submissive and vulnerable man. And a man like that will never attract a girl because you are simply acting like that typical good friend who will never have a real relationship with the girl he likes. If a woman asks you for something, ask her also for something in exchange or in return. And don't ever do things for free for her simply for the fact that the person asking you for them is a woman, and keep in mind that doing favors to others should just be done to family members and relatives. Do not assume that a woman needs favors from you. When you fall into this sort of dynamic and trap, the woman won't see you as an attractive guy, but rather as a weak, fragile, and obedient man. And remember that when you do favors for a girl and you think you're being a true gentleman by doing so, she's probably having fun and enjoying her time with the guy she really likes and loves. Number 6, don't give her money. You already know that you shouldn't compliment, nor give gifts, nor do favors to a girl or woman. And never ever give money to a woman. This is why I don't share my bank account with another woman, not even my wife. If you think that by lending or giving her money you will be winning her heart, let me tell you that it isn't like that. She will only see you as a loser and very weak man in character when you try to please all her whims and needs by trying to compensate your lack of masculinity by showing off and letting go of your cash and money from your earnings and income. You need to stop being a fool. Don't throw your hard-earned money away just like that for someone who you really don't know and doesn't give you nothing in return. I assure you that The money that you give a woman thinking that she really needs it, she will probably spend it up in garbage and stuff, or with a man that she really likes and spends most of the time with. In the meantime, you will serve her as her bank, her provider, her useful tool, but never her boyfriend. Keep in mind that when you lend money to a girl, she will never repay it back, and will never be your girlfriend, because you have lost that respect that she had for you, and you also have shown her by doing this how you really are, a very desperate man, and that is never an attractive thing for women. Number 7, don't be sentimental. In spite of whatever things are said out there, and contrary to the thought that men should be more sentimental and allow their feelings to show, you should never ever expose yourself to be fragile and vulnerable to a woman under any circumstance. A woman can externally say a lot of things in order to feel right with others, but internally she knows perfectly that she's not attracted to sensible guys who are so loving and endearing, for she is really looking for a manlier man that will not be like her in every sense. If you get sentimental, sensible, and cry in front of a girl, you will only make her feel uncomfortable, and she will lose all the respect she had for you due to the fact that she really wants a man who is very sure about himself and who knows well how to control his emotions. And if you're a very sentimental guy, women will look at you as an effeminate man or as a friend, but never as a true mate. You need to take notice of how you present yourself emotionally before women and try to change this. But don't do it for her, but do it for yourself. Remember that having a strong character will help you to confront all of the challenges and problems of life adequately. Number 8, don't give her your time. If you always postpone your activities and you put off whatever you're doing to be with a girl or to meet with her and help her instead, this will make her not see you as an attractive man. For someone who shows himself to be always available for a girl is someone who is really afraid to lose her, and someone with very little character. Someone showing very little character, very few actions, and always hanging on to the very little feminine contact he has. A woman can notice when a man is weak and desperate, and you as a man lets her know this when you are always available for her. In this situation, a woman will not respect you and only will seek you as her crying handkerchief and consolation friend, but never as someone who is masculine. If you have a girlfriend and you happen to be this type of guy who is always available for her, I really got bad news for you. She will get bored of you, since you only transmit to her the fears of losing her, and this type of behavior is highly undesirable for a woman. It is better for you not to sacrifice your time of doing your hobbies, personal activities, and work only to give priority to a woman. Your time should be very valuable and precious, so do not waste it on someone who doesn't really value it. Stop showing desperation and submission to women. They hate that. You need to keep yourself busy all the time. That's exactly what I do. If a woman will call me and ask me something like, "Hey Ernie, can you come to my house Sunday to check the oil on my car?" or something like that, I will politely answer, "I'm sorry, I am very busy and do have important things to do on Sunday and won't be able to come. Sorry." You're also telling her with this, she's not important to you. My wife just called me from abroad right now and wanted to talk with me, and I said to her, "Sorry, I'm very busy right now, so call me later." And I hung up the phone. I'm always busy for all women who try to take my time. Remember this. A busy man is an attractive man. Number 9, don't ever change for her. Many guys, in order to please a woman, change their ways of thinking, their ways of dressing, their musical tastes, their personal philosophies, and even their religious beliefs and political views, etc. When a man commits such an aberration, not only is he sabotaging and betraying himself, and this is why women won't get anywhere near him, because if you change the way you are and your way of thinking for the acceptance of a woman, you will feel empty and sad when the same girl will never accept your conditions. Don't ever change your ways in order to please a girl that you just met and that very proudly won't ever want nothing to do with you. Keep in mind that women can tell when a man is trying very hard to please them and they won't take you seriously because you're weak and manly and just chasing them. Do not let yourself be lulled with the beauty of a woman and instead take notice of your own accomplishments, your heritage and your origins. Like, for example, I'm so happy that I know that I'm Cuban. Your professional abilities and talents like I do. This way you will gain your very own respect. Remember real well that for a woman this is something they really like about the man that they want to spend their life with. Number 10. Don't be her friend. When a woman that you like considers you just a friend, it's because she really doesn't like you. The space for the friendly zone of women is always occupied by men which they don't consider attractive nor manly enough for them, but they are useful for them as guys that will give them attention, compliments, protection, and your own time. If you find yourself in that friendly zone and you like the girl, you must quickly and immediately break that relationship as soon as possible, because you will always be getting just the crumbs from her table and she will never become your girl. Keep in mind that when you are friends with a girl, she has already discarded you as a future and potential mate, and you will be wasting your time, money, and energy on her. When a man is manly enough to decline and say no to a woman's request for him to be her friend, he will then know that he has made the right and most correct decision. So let me tell you about becoming a new man. Through my spiritual calling and conversion, I have learned that it's very important to put off concerning the former conversation, the old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lusts, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind, and that ye put on the new man, which after God is created in righteousness and true holiness. Ephesians 4:22-24. And as God's minister and servant, I need to remember to put on therefore as the elect of God, holy and beloved, bowels of mercies, kindness, humbleness of mind, meekness, long-suffering, forbearing one another. If any man has a quarrel against any, even as Christ forgave you, so also do ye, and above all things put on love, which is the bond of perfectness. Colossians 3:12-14. Therefore, if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. All things are passed away, behold, all things are become new. 2 Corinthians 5:17. So this really means that from now on I should also be walking in newness of life, according to Romans 6:4. And you men listening to this podcast likewise should do the same, and don't continue to allow women to humiliate you and dehumanize you. For example, from now on I expect women to acknowledge and treat me as a true king that I am. I deserve to have nothing but the best mate that I can find. I will not settle for anything less than a Proverbs 31 woman. And you also should do the same. Don't let women belittle you, trample you under their lovely and delicious feet anymore, and prove to them that you are a real man. Just think about it. With the Russia-Ukraine war taking place and all the crap that is happening all over around the world right now, many men have been disappearing and dying. And right now there are actually 10 countries out there where women are outnumbering men by a huge margin. This is why God says this in Isaiah 13:12. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. And also in the book of Isaiah chapter 4 and verse 1, and in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. In other words, you don't have to give them money, guys. Only let us be called by thy name. That's your last name, as when you get married, to take away our reproach of being lonely, miserable, and without a mate. As you can see, there's a lack of men in the world. So take advantage of this. One final thing. Never ever show women that you're crazy about them, or that to you she's like the last Coke bottle in a desert. For example, if she comes to you and shows you her recently pedicured feet, telling you something like, do you like them, honey? Just tell her something like this. Oh, isn't that a bunion coming out of your foot? You will see how they will become more attracted to you when you ignore them and treat them like they're nothing. Trust me on this one. So, in conclusion, I'm going to play for you one of my new songs that I recently made called Walking in Newness of Life. And he that sat on the throne said, Behold, I make all things new. Revelation 21:5.
Everything from now on will be new in my life. I'll be living a new life with great new things to come. I'll have a brand new home to live in. I'll have a brand new girl to be with.
Yes, indeed.
I'll have a new outlook on life.
Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Hebrews 11:1.
Walking in newness of life. Walking in newness of life. Walking in newness of life. I'll be walking in newness of life. Doing the things that I love and want. Being with the girl that I love. Making sweet love with her all the time. Licking her soles and making her mine. Walking hand in hand, entwining our bodies full of play. Walking in newness of life. Walking in newness of life. Walking in newness of life. I'll be walking in newness of life. Eating all that I like and drinking everything that I want. Just having a really good time, enjoying myself with my new wife, going to new places I'd never been, and spending all the time doing with her new things.
Oh, I think that we should do that.
Therefore, we are buried with him by baptism into death, that like as Christ was raised up from the dead by the glory of the Father, even so we also should walk in newness of life. Romans 6:4.
Walking in newness of life. Walking in newness of life. Walking in newness of life. I'll be walking in newness of life. All things will be gone and I'll be welcoming a new life. Walking in newness of life with you, yes. Walking in newness of life, baby, with you.
And now I would like to play for you a disco song that I used to like very much because of the message it says, and it's called I'm a Man. So please enjoy it, and until next time, this is Apostle Yeshurun saying goodbye, friends.
suspended on a throne that looks out upon a kingdom filled with people all unknown. We imagine I'm not human, and my heart is made of stone. And I never had no problems, and my body's made of stone. I'm a man, yes I am. I can't help but love the song. I'm a man, yes I am. I can't help but love the song.
have heard the messenger of the Lord with Apostle Jeshurun, preparing the way for the return of Jesus Christ. For more information on this podcast and this program, you may write us by email at Jeshurun, Apostle of the Lord, at AOL.com. Again, that is Jeshurun, Yeshurun, Apostle of the Lord, at AOL.com. This podcast was sponsored by the New Radio Church of God and the Plain and Simple Truth Ministries, and by the free will offerings, tithes, and donations of those who are listeners of this podcast and are supporters of this great work of God. The preceding program has been a Plain and Simple Truth Ministries presentation.